student-athletes. Go ahead, Justin.
For both Josh and Jonah, what do you think you guys showed in that game against Utah?
I think we showed some resilience in drives where we might not have come away with the result we wanted to. We just kept chugging, kept going, tried to keep executing best as we could to get the points that we were after. Yeah.
Piggyback what Josh said, prior to that week we were kind of emphasizing, physicality because, this defense is really physical up front. And, obviously they've stopped, runs in the past for like less than 90 yards. And then we were emphasizing on that, just physicality and just go in there and just play our ball.
And how cool was it to see Deuce get out there and have a good game?
Man, I'm happy for him, prior to the game, I can tell he was locked in, I just told him before the game, don't, just like what I told Rhino, don't make this moment too big. I mean, I seen in his face, he was so confident going into that game. And then as the game went on, it was like, easy.
Mm-hmm. Same.
In terms of the bye week, how important was that for the cohesion and communication on the offensive line? Not only to get healthy, but kind of be in it as a unit and have that extra week after having guys miss out the first couple weeks of the season?
It's big. It's always big to have a little bit of extra time because, as we know, time is our enemy in college football. Each week a new opponent. So having that extra week right there, it really helped us in terms of just navigating the communication that would need to take place against that opponent. Yeah.
Ryan?
Tyler, how does it feel to know that you have coaches that turn to you for a 56-yard kick when the safe play is to punt or even just to go for it in that situation?
It's a bunch of fun. Just having, like you said, having coaches that trust you, that's a special thing. And also having teammates that trust you, I have their back and they've got my back. So going out there, obviously not the result we wanted, but definitely it's freeing and you're able to go out and operate knowing hey, I spent all this time with these guys working and perfecting my craft, and just seeing that pay off in the trust and relationships with coaches and players, it's a fun thing.
Tyler, there was a time, I believe, when you were kind of the shorter distance guy and Lucas was the longer distance guy, but now, you're taking 50-plus yarders with regularity. What have you done to improve your range?
I think I've always had the range, but the biggest thing is Lucas was fantastic at transferring his weight through the ball. He's a phenomenal ball striker. And so just being around him and seeing how he did that was big. And another thing was just the weight room and, our field workouts, all the sprinting and the running and all that stuff, just developing like a golfer, your club head speed, same thing, you want to develop leg speed. And so just being as efficient as possible with my form while stacking that leg speed in there has been kind of the difference for me.
Brian?
For the offensive lineman, did you notice any difference in how the plays were called or the plays that you guys did with someone different making that call?
No, sir. We don't really pay attention to who's calling the plays. We get a play and we execute it to the best of our ability.
So it just felt like it was seamless then?
Don't it?
Yeah.
It was just like Baker said, that's not in our control. Whoever calls the plays,
Yeah.
Our job is to go out there and execute 100%.
Justin?
You guys feel like maybe the loss against Kansas State maybe took some pressure off you guys, and maybe the game against Utah you were a little bit more loose?
For sure, we kind of had that chip on our shoulder. After that loss, we were heading into a bye week. We kind of carried that into a bye week, and it kind of filled that us up. And then leading to a game week, we were ready to go. We were ready to prepare for Utah.
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, one for the offensive lineman and then one for Tyler. What was the process like for Rhino to improve his game? I think he gave up 5 pressures against Kansas State and then none against Utah, and he was going up against one of the best defensive ends in the conference.
Just keeping to what Coach I was telling him every day in practice, and obviously getting healthy and everything, and just taking to heart all the little things and the little details that really do make a difference, and they do make a difference in letting up something and not letting up something. It does make a difference, in which he's done a really good job of recently.
What do you think, Jim?
All that happens in practice. After that game, we kind of watched the film, and I took Rhino after practices and then try to fix on some things that he needed worked on, and then he agreed with it, and then from there on, he kind of improved on his techniques.
And then for Tyler, Lucas was here a bunch during training camp. I don't know if he's still around, but what were some of the things that you guys talked about or worked on together?
He was just sharing a lot with me, like what he's learned in the league from guys. Because there's a lot of ins and outs of the games. It's kind of like I always compare kicking to golf. Like sometimes you look at like a PGA caddy and their knowledge of courses and their knowledge of, hey, this is the shot you play, this is this club you use. And so he was just kind of talking with me about how that works in different stadiums. Talking to me about, hey, when you're going out pregame, this is how I would go out and pick spots because this is how I know my ball plays. One of the things you learn, and I've really learned over this past year, is kicking is not about being a perfect kicker, but it's about being a great adjuster. Because you could go out pregame and how you're hitting, like you just kind of have to accept, hey, today I have a little bit more of a draw on my ball maybe. And so he was talking to me about the mental game of like, you may be hitting in the net feeling like, oh, the draw is not there, but if that's how you were hitting pregame, you just got to trust it. And so picking different target lines to play that type of ball, stuff like that, just the expertise and ins and outs of the games. That's what we were talking about a lot.
Do you play golf?
I do. I'm not good. I'm like.
I've heard of this, man. I've heard of it.
I'm not good. No, Cash is good. Cash Peterman, great golfer. Awesome guy to be around. He's a fun time. I don't golf. I wish I could. So, yeah.
Brian?
A couple of things, Tyler. First, how confident or far back are you confident from, do you think, for taking a kick in the game?
I always tell Coach, I'm like, Coach, if you put me at 65, the ball will go. Like, it'll get there for sure. Yeah, I'd say 65 is like.
And if you had do you think you have the ability to convince Coach Brennan and others to give you that shot, or are you just going to go with what they say?
I'm going to go with what they say. I think we kind of mess around a little bit in practice with that, and I think we're there.
Yeah.
I think. They joke around with me like, hey, we get to 50, we can kick a field goal, which is like that's a fun thing to have a conversation about and joke about. But I think if we ever got in a situation like, hey, you want to go kick this? Be like, heck yeah, let's do it.
And then Kansas State game, you were out there as a punter. Do you prefer the kicking side to the punting side, or?
Talked a lot about on the team just embracing your role, and they asked me to punt, I'm gonna go punt. If they ask me to kick, I'm gonna go kick. Both are just super fun. Like being a specialist is awesome because you get to spend thousands of hours doing one thing and building on that one thing, and then when it's time to go perform, it's a blast.
Justin?
Question for the offensive lineman. What have you seen out of Texas Tech on film?
Good team. They're well coached. They got long lever dudes up front, and it's going to be a good game. It's an exciting game.
A lot of movements, a lot of stems. So we're going to go into this game expecting some movements up front. Not just one formation. They run a lot of multiple defenses, so got to stay ready.
Last question to Michael.
For the lineman, I got one for Tyler too. What can those experiences going to Kansas State and Utah, two of the toughest places to play in Big 12, do for the team, do you think?
It puts a chip on our shoulder and kind of reignites a flame on our butts, for example, and gets us going and gets us really refocused on what the mission is and how we attack every single day and every single practice.
And football, it's a game of adversity. So when that happens, we got to overcome it as a team. And then, we always got to have a chip on the shoulder, like Baker said. And then we always have that 1-0 mentality. After this game, 0-0. We play another team, got to flush what happened in the past, and we're always moving on.
And for Tyler, I think you're one of the two full-time kickers who's got 100% touchback rate still. Do you think that's something that's sustainable for the whole season, or there maybe be a time where there's wind or weather or not as much elevation?
Yeah. Yeah, my body will hold up to it, like hitting touchbacks. Obviously, we can't, the weather's one of the only things you can't control. So if we get into a game and it's just like a monsoon straight in the face, we have plans for that to adjust and play that well. But my body will hold up to it. Like 100% touchback is kind of something that's fun and like I want to try and get, but whatever they ask me to do, we'll do. So.
All right, that's our time.